Faith, the Unholy Trinity came out on Steam the 21st of October 2022, despite how it looks. And I'm here to tell you, because of how it looks and how it sounds, it's the most eerie game I think I've ever played. You see, Faith, it's a downright master of being eerie, and I think it's because of its design. Now, it's modeled and designed to look and sound like a game from the Atari. It also very much so plays like one, as you have a very rudimentary control system being WASD and the spacebar, which the game then uses as a foundation to build. And when I say the spacebar, that's your attack. You see, you are a priest. You are Father John, who was sent to a house a year ago to perform an exorcism. However, that exorcism fails. You're now a year in the future. Father John hasn't been able to properly sleep since that fateful night. And you are driving back there to fix the mistakes. This has not been approved by the Vatican, but you need to, for your own mental sake. And like that, the game starts. Now, if you're going into this without knowing anything about Faith, I will let you experience how I think the game is supposed to be experienced with the very first cutscene in the game.
September 21st, 1987. It's been 1 year since I first went inside that house. I have to finish what I started. What I am about to do has not been approved by the Vatican.
Now, that's the way I was introduced to Faith. And I think that's the way everybody should be introduced, because it sort of sets the atmosphere immediately. But, as you can see, graphically it's not the most impressive. However, it manages to have atmosphere. And I'm often one of the people who preach that I think a good atmosphere is more important than a good graphical style, or just good graphics in general. Because if the entire picture comes together well with the style that's used, then that's what you should use. You shouldn't be going into this fancy-pantsy graphics and looking all modern and stuff if you don't have to. And Faith is a game that does the absolute maximum you can do with that style. Because you see, Faith, through its sound design, through its music, through its dialogue, through its actual even better cutscenes, because there are some that are really impressive that I'm going to show off later in the video, it manages to build an atmosphere. It manages to build an atmosphere that you don't often find in video games. One where you are sitting at the edge of your chair, filled with tension for something you know you're gonna be able to win. Because Faith, in my opinion, it's not the hardest game ever. That's not unfortunate, that's not me calling it bad. It's just the reality that often it's a puzzle that is very basic, so just go into this room, find this item, or you have to kill this boss by holding spacebar and walking around a bit. Sometimes they take some visibility away from you, sometimes they just take your cross away from you and you have to run. Sometimes you don't have to do anything. But at the end of the day, there aren't a lot of variations you can do with the control scheme, and that's alright, because Faith delivers on almost every other level. Because while gameplay is rudimentary, as I said, what isn't rudimentary is the music. I'm gonna play you 30 seconds of the intro song, the main menu theme that is playing in Faith. It is my favorite piece of music from the game, and one that I absolutely adore and would love to hear your opinion on. So, what do you think of the music? I think it's really good, personally anyway. It's an 8-bit rendition of, and I might completely butcher this, A Bet With Me from Eventide. It is a religious song used in churches and whatnot. It's renditioned in 8-bit here, and I think it is really good. Like legitimately really good, something that I can and have been listening to on and off. There's also the background track for this entire video, if you want to know like the parts where I don't use the game audio directly. Yeah, it's really good. It adds a lot to the game in my opinion, and here's the thing, all the music is like that. All the sound design is like that, you walking is like that, everything has the 8-bit, slightly high pitch sound design. And it enhances the experience of playing Thief. Because where another game you can clearly understand what's going on, sometimes you have monsters running at you or people yelling and saying things you outright won't pick up. And there won't be any text prompts, so you will be left wondering, what did he just call me and my mother? Because that's the way the sound chip works. And you know what? Hell yeah, it's really good. Because you see, one of the easiest way to unhorrify a monster is via making it understandable. When you understand something, it's harder to be afraid of it. In Faith, you often don't understand it until after you have already dealt with it, thereby the scare keeps existing throughout the encounter. Now, when I say scare, I don't mean like legitimately being afraid and you're sitting and begging for your life and crying, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the eerie, really eerie feeling. I think the way I can best sort of put it into another context is it feels like playing World of Horror doing the very first demo of the game when you're walking through the school halls. It's eerie. You're wondering, what could happen here? Am I gonna get jump scared? And the thing with Faith is, no, you're not gonna get jump scared. There might be a monster rushing you, but there won't be anything popping up all of a sudden into your face. Because that's not how it operates. And I am a person who absolutely fucking hate jump scares. I am grateful to say that. I think it's really good. And I think it manages to sort of in a very interesting way get around it while being true to itself and being horrifying, because Faith is horrifying. Now, Faith has 3 chapters, and they all play fairly similarly with different gimmicks added onto each chapter. Sometimes it changes it, and each encounter is also hardly different, and that makes it pretty fun. Like any other survival horror game, honestly, there's a million endings to chase down if you're into that. I haven't really bothered overall, but I can say that my favorite chapter out of all of them has to be the 3rd chapter. specifically because of this one cutscene I'm gonna play in full length for you, and the general theming that you're gonna experience from there. All the background footage from here on out will be of Chapter 3, just so you know. So, with that being, in my opinion, the best cutscene in the game, just because of how fast it's going and the fact that you don't know anything, I think it's time that I very lightly touch on the story, because I think partially it is important that you understand a little bit of it, but I don't want to give you everything. The reason being, again, this is an indie game. This is a game where I sort of don't want you to watch this video and then go, there's no reason that I touched the game, and then don't play it yourself. This is sort of just like all the other videos really I've made on the horror games, a call for you to go and play those games, to support the devs, because these games are amazing and I need to access more of them. So, very lightly on what's Faith about. Faith is a game where you play as a priest called Father John. You failed an exorcism a year earlier, and while not having the approval of the Vatican, you decide to drive over to the house again and try again, because you see you unleashed a demon. But as you go on, you realize that there's more to it than just that one demon. There's an entire cult, there's a town that's acting weird, and you are gonna find out what's up. You could probably draw some parallels to some of H.P. Lovecraft's work, but you can with most things, if I'm being completely honest. Oh, there's a giant fish, must be the fish people. Oh, there's an eldritch god, Cthulhu. Like, you can always find some way to sort of point it out, right? And in Faith, that's no different. You are the stranger coming into a community that don't always welcome you. It can specifically be seen, especially when you, for the first time, meet a policeman and they tell you that a preacher isn't welcome here. It's a crime scene. It is in between the satanic panic of the 80s and the sort of more modern day thing, right? And it managed to slap the starlings really well. Because you see, when you, for the first time, find out about all of these things and start to put it together, the game will reveal more of itself to you. It'll reveal it specifically through the exorcism that you do on objects, where they leave a little note about the thing, about, you know, where it came from, or the background story of it, or just on characters. And throughout reading those, you'll sort of put the entire story together and what's going on. Now, I'm not gonna get any more into the story. If you're looking for that, I'm gonna link a video by beth-a-noots, sorry if I mispronounced that, in the description. And you can go watch that, because I think they did a really, really good job on it. And, well, they talk about the story exclusively, whereas I talk about all the other things exclusively. Because you see, and this is where I want to tie it in, with the combination of the story and the visuals and the sound design, Faith manages to take what FNAF did in a minigame, make it into an entire game, and enhance it 1,000,000 times. Because Faith is more than just Jump Scare City. It's a game that managed to build up tension and atmosphere throughout its many chapters, 3, and it also managed to have some fun boss fights and secret shoot and chase, along with some admittedly moments that made me smile. Because there's something that's really funny to me about you being able to walk over to a neighbor's house, peek in of the window and just watch them watching TV. Sure, it's not the most traditional horror game out there, and I think a lot of people are gonna be turned off by the graphics, and I think that's a shame. If you're watching this video and you've made it this far, thank you for watching. I don't have much more to say about it. I'm sorry if some of you expected me to get super deep or talk about the mental state of the characters or something. But in comparison to Back Inside of Bag of Milk, or really any of the Milk games, this game isn't as heavily themed around mental illness as they are, and as such I won't really just randomly shoehorn it in. I will have a segment like from here and then onwards where I'll just talk a little bit with some gameplay in the background. It'll be about the future of the channel and whatnot. If you're not interested in any of that, then leave a like if you enjoyed the video, sub if you feel like it, and you know, have a good evening. If you do want to hear a little bit about my future plans for the channel and whatnot, then stay a bit. We'll be talking a little bit about it. Hi. I'm sorry that the video was delayed, firstly. Part of me wanted to make this the best I can, and while the delay might not have done that, it's delayed because Friday, when I expected to record a bunch of stuff, I had to go to the hospital, and then I had to come back from the hospital. There's nothing wrong with me, if that's what you're wondering. Like, there's nothing physically wrong, I'm good. It's because I had to sort of support another person that was going through some stuff, and I promised to be there for them, and that ended up taking more energy than I expected it to. And as such, I ended up just not recording, and the weekend sort of just came and went, so no video was made, so I ended up just going, I'm good day by day. But here we are, and the video was made, and everything is good. So, future of the channel. Firstly, thank you for the support on the video about the Milk franchise. I really enjoyed making that one. Honestly, probably my favorite so far. Partially just because of how weird the Milk games were. I've never seen anything quite like them either. And for those of you who are wondering, since I did see a comment with it, I'm from Denmark. I did answer it in the comments. If you have any comments or anything you want to know about me, just leave it. I'll be as open as I want to be. There are parts of my private life I don't want to share, but for the most part, I'm going to be open. So, the future of the channel. What's in store? Well, for one, I don't know if I'll be touching too much on horror games from here on out, as these were the main ones I wanted to cover, and I don't like just talking about it for the sake of talking, you know. I know for sure that I'll be making a video on Hunt the Night, and there's also going to be a video hopefully next week, but I can't promise as I won't be home for most of the week, on Night Brief. After that, my schedule is fairly open for ideas. If you have anything you want me to talk about or whatever, any game you find interesting, you just want to share, feel free in the comments. I look at all of them, right? But yeah, Night Brief and the Hunt of the Night, that definitely gonna make a appearance. I might also just talk a little bit about graphics and sort of where I stand on the entire pretty graphics versus good art style and good direction, even though that I think that's obvious by now, and why and whatnot. But yeah, there's a couple of different ideas coming around, and first and foremost, for the next week, I'm not gonna be home. I'm gonna be going out of country this Saturday, and I'm gonna have some friends over Tuesday until then, so Thursday until then. So I don't know if I'll be able to get a video out this week, but there will obviously be something on the community tab about that as well. That being said, thank you for watching. And if you watched this last part, one, that's to me that's weird because I didn't expect anybody really to care. But thank you so much for caring that much about it. That I really truly do appreciate that. If you aren't subbed already, you know, leave a like. Follow the channel, enjoy your time, have a really good night, and I'll see you all in the next one.